in this Python function call and print example, we want to see what's the result of running this 4 lines of code. Okay, so at the beginning, you can see that in these 3 lines, we are defining a function clearly. It's a 2-variable or 2-argument function depending on argument x and argument y. And then what we are doing at the end is after we define the function, we print and then we call the function. And actually, we are doing it 3 times. So what is happening here? Okay, so let's quickly go through this and then check which of these answers is the correct one. Okay, so we are calling f of 3, 2. So as soon as we do that, we call this function. The first variable is 3 and the second variable is 2. Recall that when we do these kind of default definition, they are there only if we are not giving the function any specified value. We are doing so. So we are specifically saying x is 3 and y is 2. Okay, so those values are considered. Now, we are swapping the value of x and y via this line. So we are basically saying, hey, y goes to x and x goes to y. And then after that, what we are doing is we are raising x to the power y. So effectively, what is happening is since we are swapping x and y, then we are effectively doing 2 to the power 3. So the result of calling this function would be 2 to the 3. And the same thing, we are doing function call x0, y -1, but then inside the function we are swapping. It's good that we are swapping because otherwise 0 to the power -1 would be 1 over 0, which is undefined. That is not the case here because of this swapping that is happening. So we are effectively doing -1 to the power 0, which is 1. So therefore, we get 1. And finally, we are calling the function without specifying any value. In this case, the default values will be considered. So now x is 3, y is 4, and then we swap. So we do y to the power x, which is 4 to the power 3. So in this case, become 4 to the power 3, which is obviously 64. Okay. So we are forming this list here because we are clearly defining a list, as you can see, with 3 elements. So it's a 3-element list, as you can see. So the first element is 2 to the power 3, which is 8. The second one is 1. And the third element is 64. Then the next thing we are doing is we are changing the order of elements inside the list. What are we doing? We are saying take from the first element to the last element because we are not specifying, but then the ordering 0 to the power 0, so this one is 0 to the power 0, which is 1, but then there is a negative sign behind it. So what we are doing is we are saying from the first element to the last element, sort by reading from the last element to the first element. So we're going to read 64, 1, 8. Okay, so up to this point, looks like what we are reading here would turn out to be 64, 1, 8. Looks like we are heading toward this answer. But the thing is, we are missing one last point. This star sign, this asterisk at the beginning, actually is saying that, hey, take out all the elements inside the list and actually print those. So print all the elements inside the list. Actually, what the print does in this scenario, because of that, will be this one. So we are going to print 64. We are going to print 64, 1, 8. So that's the final answer. I hope that this example is helpful in terms of showcasing the nuances in function calling and also some of the capabilities or some of the flexibilities that we have when we are printing lists and elements inside the list.